The O-Zone.
Welcome to the O-Zone Podcast with Jaguars senior writer John Oehser. All right, welcome into the second to last O-Zone podcast of the 2026 offseason. And we're joined this week not by Kai Stevens. As you can tell, this is not Kai Stevens. We're joined by J.P. Shadrick.
This is what we call in the business a downgrade.
It's major.
Huge.
Major downgrade.
Huge. Thanks for having me on your podcast, John.
Well,
it's the first time I've been on the O-Zone podcast.
There's a reason for that. It's
Might be the last.
I appreciate you doing this. It's fun, and we'll get to the topic and the format as we go. Our guest this week, JP, is LeQuint Allen. Who, it's cool. We've pre-taped the interview because you sort of have to do that during the off season. He's fantastic as always. He's as engaging a young player as I've been around in a long time. Really enjoy him. We'll talk a little about him after the interview.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, there's a lot to say about him too because he made an impact, I think, in year one.
He's so fun. And so the thing we do here, JP, I call it 6 good minutes, 3 cold takes. And it's what it sounds like. The minutes are good. Our information probably is cold, but we'll do the best we can.
Do we need to time this?
I'm timing.
Oh, you got it. Okay, got it.
I hit a little timer on my phone. So,
all right, cool.
Look, there's really right now, if you're talking about OTAs and minicamp, there's only one story. It's BTJ.
No doubt.
Brian Thomas Jr., any show we've been on, we've talked about it. He's been outstanding.
He's been the focus of a lot of speculation in the offseason, even during the season last year, because he didn't really know what was going on early in the year with him. And he continued to battle through, and they stuck with him, and he contributed in certain ways down the stretch when the offense was doing big things. And then this whole offseason was like, oh, they're trading him. They're trading him.
Right.
They're trading him. That was the story everywhere nationally. Oh, he's going to be traded. Well, wait a minute. Okay, they stood by him the whole time and denied that they were ever really trying to move him, and he can be a big piece of what they do. So all that said, hey, there's a big spotlight on him coming into this offseason program because, okay, is he really going to step up and take a step forward from last year? There's only one way to prove that, and that's on the field. And the only way to do that right now is in OTAs without pads on, and he's doing it. It seems like he's doing it almost every day. There's a big play or two down the field, and when it's real, that opens up a lot of other things in this offense too.
Yeah, and I think that's the key is, look, you're not going to hit a big play to the wide receiver in every game, but the consistency that he's getting deep, the consistency that they're showing timing, you have to keep in perspective. Most receivers don't hit 15 80-yard passes in a season. If they hit 4 or 5 more than they did last season, I always try in the offseason to remember what their season's really like. You hit 3 or 4 more 40-yard plays, you're tipping field position, you're tipping momentum. That can be huge. So I just think, as easy as it is for fans to say, oh, this is, it's just the off season, and I get that, but I do think there's some momentum being built, and I think it's cool to see his confidence going up, and there's no negative to it, and he doesn't have to get a whole lot better to really make a huge impact. So
the confidence is a big thing because we saw a lack of that early last year.
It seemed like
and how it can just kind of pile on when there's some issues, dropping balls, in breaking routes. You just see the bad body language, right? Sure. There's a lot of that was showing early last season. But when things are going well and you can build upon things that are going well, you see what he can do.
Yeah.
And he kind of walks around with a different step now.
Yeah, and I think that's it. It's the difference, And
that's not just on the field. I think that's in the building too. I mean, that's a real thing in the meeting rooms and everything. When you know it, when you're confident in your ability to go execute what you just, everything's there, and he just has a different air about him.
He does, and there's nothing negative about that. We'll go to another cornerstone player of the franchise, JHA, as I call him, Josh Hines-Allen, spoke to the media today. Interesting. There was a little give and take back and forth. Everybody outside looks at Josh Allen. He looks bigger. He looks like he's built up upper body strength. He says no. He says he weighs the same, looks the same. So I guess agree to disagree. So,
Right.
and nothing that he certainly looks like a player who has added some upper body strength. It's almost weird to talk about him looking better because he's always been one of the best looking defensive players in terms of this guy was put on this earth to play this position. But I guess there's not much new to say at this point of his career about JHA, as I call him. I just continue to be impressed by he's going into year, 8?
It's that long? Wow.
Or 7, 8 now.
Wow.
The drive continues to be there for him, and you never look at him I still do not look at him as a guy of, oh, he's peaked. I think he's still in his prime, and I expect him double-digit sacks. I expect him to have a big year this year.
Yeah, I was going to ask if Mark Long asked him about the lack of sacks again.
I'm sure
that was, a locker room thing throughout the season.
Yeah.
It's just kind of what it was.
As is often the case with Mark Long.
And not the first or the last time, I think, with that.
Drove the nail through the board.
That's fine. But no, and he was impactful.
Oh, he's
on
very
this defense, even without the 8 sacks last year, right?
He had a big time year last year.
He was always around the quarterback, forcing early throws, and a big reason why a lot of those interceptions came early in the season is because he's in the area. He's there and making the quarterback make a move or something out of the ordinary, and that's how turnovers happen a lot of times. Like it's not going to be a straight strip sack every time. It might be a weird slide to the right, and he has to let it go a beat early, and then it's tipped and picked. So
he could have 14 sacks this year and potentially not have as good a year as he did last year.
You say this all the time. It makes sense. Like the sack number is one thing, and it matters when it comes to contracts, I think. I mean, that's those. And when you're talking about contracts and our conversation around free agency, all that stuff. But in terms of game impact, okay, the sacks are great, and they do impact. I mean, because the quarterback's on the ground, that's always positive for the defense.
Right.
But there are other ways that the game can be impacted by a defensive end. He's done a lot of that lately.
He does that a lot. We're just went over time.
So
our last.
Oh, I talked too long. Sorry.
Our last hot take or cold take, whatever we're. What's JP's hot minicamp take?
Hot minicamp take. I believe that the loss of the running back Echan, however you say it, Etienne here, is not going to be that huge of a blow for this team. I think they are very confident in what the running back room can be, especially with the two guys they drafted last year and one you talked about earlier with Allen and Tootin, of course. Rodriguez is banged up right now. He's got a lower leg injury. Amir Abdullah has been in the league forever, but he's kind of that veteran presence there. I think they're going to find ways to utilize all kind of different guys back there and not have a true number one back. I don't think, because we talk a lot about the wide receiver room, not needing a number one wide receiver in this offense. But these guys have kind of different skill sets. We saw a lot of Bashal Tootin between the tackles last year, which I thought was a little surprised because he's a 4-3-2 guy. And then at the end, we saw him break open some. And then LeQuint Allen's got the physicality and the presence and the pass protection game and a little edge to him, a lot of an edge to him. So that those are cool. I don't think they don't necessarily have to have a number. Now, if you have Saquon Barkley on the team, different animal, right? But he's not. Those guys don't walk through the door every day. I think they can run this offense how they want without a true number one back.
I agree, and I think they will be a better running team than they were last year. And I think fans might not think that, but I think they'll be a more efficient running team. May not have a 1,000-yard rusher, but I think they will feel by the end of the season better about how the running game is fueling the overall offense.
Yeah, and now this is an OTA take, right? Or is this an off-season take? What is this? OTA? Because if it's an OTA take, I'd have to go somewhere else. Because the run game, what are you going to really do in the run game? There's no pads on. You're not going to really find out a lot until they do 9-on-7.
That's an off-season take then. Okay.
It's an off-season take. So that's a general off-season take. So there you go. Yeah.
All right. We will go now from our cold takes to the Ozone interview with Jaguars' second-year running back now, LeQuint Allen. I always say I'm excited about the interview because I am, but I've been looking forward to talking to Jaguars running back LeQuint Allen for a long time, and I think Jaguars fans are excited to hear from you. First of all, I appreciate you joining.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you for having me. Yes, sir.
Tell me about the 2026 off-season vibe around here.
Yeah.
You got here as a rookie last year, so maybe you were just learning everything. But I guess tell me overall with the team what you think of the energy, the vibe right now.
I think we're moving in the right direction, connecting, and, the vets are taking care of the younger guys and things like that and building relationships. I think, if everyone can relate and then everyone has the same goal, I believe. But once once that happens, it's easier to go towards that goal because we're more connected and not that many teams are connected.
Okay. What did you have a chance from January to April to breathe a little bit? Meaning,
I mean, yes
you go through
and
that
no.
whole rookie year without having a chance to really think about things.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. But I took advantage. That's why I said yes and no. I took advantage and went out there in Arizona.
To Arizona, right.
Yeah, and worked on speed and agility and things like that and getting my legs stronger and, just getting my whole body stronger and then more mobile and, just being prepared for this season.
So just making it as a rookie wasn't enough for you?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
What's next?
What's next? We're attacking this season, 2026 season. Get everyone on board. The train is leaving. We're going to that common goal, and we're gonna dominate every opponent that comes our way because we work too hard.
I think people who follow the Jags and follow this website feel like they know a little bit about you.
Yes, sir.
And your attitude and your approach is so notable, meaning you never see you really down. I assume even when you came in and sort of had an uphill battle to make the team or to establish yourself, where does that come from? That energy, that outlook on life?
I love football. I love everything that has to do with football, and football is a collective sport, so that means I have to make sure my teammates is on, in their best state of mind, and they're moving right, and they're not thinking of anything negative. I told them always think positive, and I'm right by your side, all the time, and no matter what, if you lose a win a bet, I'm still gonna be right there, helping you too. So I just think that comes with just loving the game of football and loving the process over the results, and just loving the game and everything that comes with it.
What are first days like for you? And what I'm getting at is some people, and I'm one of them, you come in and it takes you 2 or 3 weeks to sort of adapt to an environment. I get the idea that you don't play around with any adapting to the environment.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you come in first day and feel like
for sure
I'm going to belong and get to know people.
For sure. I was always the guy, just growing up, I speak first. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I say hey first or whatever. But
whether you're right or wrong, you're going to talk first.
Yeah, I'm going to talk first. I'm going to talk first because I just put my pride to the side. I've been down a lot in my life and things like that. I've been through some dark places and things like that. So just learning from that and then learning where my feet is today, just running and walking with it at the same time, just being where my feet is and just learning what I've been through and just taking it, to what we're trying to do here as an organization.
And it strikes me that I usually ask guys when they're rookies, when did you sort of know you were going to make it and be good enough in the NFL? But I kind of get the idea with you, it never occurred to you that you would.
Yeah, I didn't. I love football, and I look at football as football. I don't look at the draft as rounds or nothing.
Right.
Me personally, I don't care about anything like that. As long as you give me a helmet jersey and things like that, I'm going to rock out for you. Yes, sir. But that's just how I look at things.
Right.
And then once I was in the building, I was ready to compete with anybody, anywhere, any place. And at the same time, taking care of my teammates. But just being a competitor all the time, no matter if we're about to draw some, I want to try to beat you. I'll make it competitive. So I think that's what it takes in this organization and then within like the league. Because everyone's good in their own way. What else? What's next? What do you bring to the table? So I try to bring stuff that people don't really think about sometimes.
Oh, we all saw you on Mic'd Up, which you were sort of a mic'd up star last year.
Yes, sir.
Who is your favorite guy to mess with?
My favorite guy to mess with?
Yeah, I mean, or because we all saw the highlights of you
for
sort
sure.
of tweaking guys.
Yes, sir.
And that's part of what you like, that
Yes, sir.
competitiveness and that kind of being an irritant. What was the most fun?
My favorite guy to mess with was, are you saying like in general from last year?
Well,
Yeah, my favorite
it sounds
guy.
like there's a list.
Nah, it's just like, man, if you're lining up against, the Jaguars, man, I gotta mess with everyone that's not
Right.
on the Jaguars. So that's my mindset.
Right.
Because it's like you're trying to stop us from getting to our goal,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like that too much. So
I got you.
I feel like just everyone with the opposite jersey, attack them, and I feel like that's what comes with football too. I love football.
When did you start playing football?
6 years old.
When did you start trash talking?
6 years old. I actually got a little funny video if you guys want it. It's like I never changed.
Okay, I got it.
Even at that age, but definitely.
Okay. Now, I assume growing up you're always the best player.
I mean, I tried to
When you were
be.
playing-
I work
okay.
hard to be.
Got you.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about your role this year coming in. A third back last year, but around this team does not pigeonhole guys into roles.
Yes, sir.
They open up competition. I assume going in, you're looking for what role?
Just any role that I work hard for and every day, at the same time bringing everyone in like the position group with me and, just bringing everyone together. It's a competition, but you want to make sure everyone is on the same page and know everything and move as one, because at the end of the day, we are a unit and we need everyone. So I just work hard and, just try to be myself every day. And then that's up to the coaches. They determine, my rules and all of that. But I determine my effort and what I learn and what I know and what I establish on the field when it's time.
Now, most backs, I should say most backs, a lot of backs, they judge themselves. I look at the stat sheet, how many yards, how many carries.
Yes, sir.
It strikes me you look at
Yeah.
more of a big picture, don't you?
Yeah, I don't even look at myself as a running back though. That's the crazy part.
Okay.
But that's my position and that's what
Okay.
I do. But I'm just a football player. I
Okay.
love to play everything.
So when they tell you, hey, you got to play special teams, you don't say have to, you say get
I
to.
step up. I'm the first one to step up. I love
Okay.
it because it's like that's what's gonna take the win, and that's
Okay.
what. Like I said, people don't. They kind of look past those things, like the little
Sure.
things, and then those are the little things that determine, a winner or loss.
Right.
It could be offense, defense play, but then if we look on special teams, that special team play determine a lot because it flipped the field, like where the ball
Momentum,
start.
yeah.
But it's just a lot of things. But I love it. I love all phases of football, and Yes,
So
sir.
when people sort of heap praise on you, oh, what a great blocking back you are, what a great pass ball. Yeah,
that's just one attribute they see.
yeah. You
And I
don't
know
really,
I know it's
right.
more. I know
Okay.
it's more. So whenever the time comes, I'm gonna show more and continue to work whenever it's allowed. Yes, sir.
Why 36 last year and why 5 this year?
36. I came into 36, and then like I said, I don't care about nothing else but football. Make sure my teammates around me develop, and I'm bringing them with me, and we're all on a goal. So a number, I didn't care about a number.
Right.
Honestly, they gave me 36.
You said fine.
I rocked out with it all year.
Right.
Didn't change. And then 5, just trying to get any single digit.
Okay.
That's all. It was really nothing to it. If they gave
Gotcha.
me 100, I wear 100.
Okay. They're probably not going to do that. Why is it so important to you to have the junior on the back of your jersey?
It means a lot to me. Just knowing who I come from and just knowing what he established in me and
Right.
allowed me to be who I am today. And, a positive way to the youth and to fans, teammates, just being a positive image to the whole, world. And like I said, just looking at dark times and things like that, just being through dark times,
Sure.
it helps you out a lot down the road.
And he always pushed you and made sure you knew that you could be great, right?
Yes, sir.
That was a big deal.
Yes, sir. Definitely. And just, how we grew up is kind of hard. So he just always told me, turn that into something good. And, that's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm still going to continue to do. And I know he's looking over me. Yeah.
But even though you had tough times, tell me if this is right. I read a story. I
Yes,
did a
sir.
little research for this.
Yeah.
Used to chop wood and paint
Yes, sir.
in high school just to help people out
Yes, sir. I mean,
and get ready for winter because you're from up north.
to help people out and to get like a different type of work ethic, just knowing.
And this
And
is
I
when
was
you're in high
messing
school.
up too. Yeah, I was
Okay.
messing up too.
Okay, I got
So
you.
it's discipline, helping people out, and just knowing like it's good. It's better days coming.
Gotcha.
You know, it's kind of, in a I would say, but just learning, just not knowing who I was yet.
Right.
Just not knowing who I was yet, and then just bring the right people around me, and tunnel vision onto the goal. Yes, sir.
What helped you figure out who you were? you
Tough
still did?
tough times.
Okay.
Things going not my way.
Okay.
All negative things, I would say, it helped me bring to a positive, more powerful positive that overweighs all the negative, I would say.
It's good stuff. Your approach on the field of not backing down in any situation.
That's just in me. That's my DNA. I think it comes from my father, kind of. But that's just in me. That's in me.
So was that there when you were 10? Or,
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's
Yes,
just
sir.
always been the thing.
I didn't even know coming up I was tackling my older cousins in the front yard. My uncle and aunt used to tell me that. So just even before I even knew I had a brain, I was already doing that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you were like 3 or 4.
Before I even knew what I was already doing that.
Were you trash talking them too?
I don't know all that, but I was literally tackling them in the front
Maybe
yard.
you didn't know how to talk yet.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
You mentioned before the running back room.
Yes, sir.
Without Travis, what do you see it looking like next year? I mean, it's very much a balanced room,
Yes, sir.
and you get the idea, even last year, that it was a group that worked together.
Together. Yes, sir. Even when Travis was here, we were working together, learning from Travis, and that was amazing. Just learning from Travis. I used to watch Travis on TV and things like that,
Right.
and just be able to learn from him and be in the same room and compete with him. It was amazing. But no, definitely we are all together, even though it's a competition. But we bring everyone together. We don't like to make anyone feel left out or bring them down or anything. We bring them up, and we try to all coach each other up when it's possible.
Now, people tend to, I guess, want to pigeonhole guys into roles. We sort of talked about this earlier. Last year, third down back. But this team really doesn't see you that way. I mean, they see you as a guy who can carry it, who can catch it. Mm-hmm. I assume you feel like there's a lot more there than what you showed last year.
Yes, sir, for sure. And that comes with, the process and then learning new things and learning the whole offense. And then this year, I would say it's second nature, more second nature. Last year was more of thinking a little bit, but more deliberate focus too, and just knowing and then predetermined if they're lined up like this, it's only 2 things that can happen, and that's taking a game to the next level. And I try to do that, and then that way be available to everything, not just blocking, but wherever coach need me to go, that's where I'm gonna go, play at a high level.
How much film study for you in the off season? I mean,
film study in the off season.
Yeah, pretty much what you do. It sounds like.
I would say I worked out more than I film studied in the off season, but now it's more. I'm more locked in on my film. Yes,
and
sir.
your focus when you were working out was?
That was more speed, quick movements, and things like that, and top of the routes and conditioning all the time. But power, I was in that weight room, getting my legs stronger.
You're still excited about what's to come, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I can't wait. Shoot out and practice right now or game right now. I go.
I got you. The last thing we do, it's called the Ozone 5. It's 5 fun questions. LeQuint, what was your last binge watch?
I watched the Planet of the Apes again.
Okay, that's good.
And I realized Caesar was powerful. He was powerful, and then he was different. But then he realized other people were a little different. So he tried, to bring everyone together. So when the Apes were strong together, nobody could really mess with them. So yeah, that's what I watched. Yeah.
LeQuint, I'm old enough to have seen the original Planet of the Apes. So
Yeah, for sure.
So,
yes, sir.
On the way in the morning, podcast or music?
Music.
And this morning, what was the song?
I don't know at the top of my head.
Okay.
But I'm pretty amped in the morning. A lot of people.
I can imagine
Yeah,
that.
a lot of people say that I need to chill in the morning.
Okay.
But nah, I love
So the music's real in the morning when you're coming
Yeah.
in. I got you. The athlete that you most want to see or are most glad you have seen?
That's good. That's a good question. Can you ask that one more time so I can have a little bit more?
The athlete that you would like to see, ideally, past or present, or that you're glad you have seen. Like your favorite athlete, the guy that you most admire, whatever that is. Any sport.
Any sport. I would say like Mike Tyson or Ali.
Okay.
Just,
That's a good one.
There are two different fighters, but their work ethic and, they were good at what they do.
Yeah.
But if you like watch some of their videos, like their workout videos, it's like pretty intense and they're like focused. And then like you could see the same thing transition into, when it's actually time to do it. And I think,
Jersey guys love boxing, man.
Yes, sir.
It's the sport other than football that you
Baseball.
were good at. Really?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
What'd you play?
Center field, shortstop.
Okay. Hit? You could hit?
I can hit all through the lineup, but I'd
Okay.
say I'd probably be like fifth hitter. Something around there. Fifth hitter.
Could you hit the curveball?
Gotta sit back on it.
Okay. Sit back,
Sit back
That's
on
fair.
it.
And final question: the person or people that you wouldn't be here without.
My mom, my dad, and God.
Got you.
100%.
Go ahead.
I can talk more into it. My dad helped me just figure out who I was and just know like good from bad and just always keep my head on the swivel and things like that and just know who's good for you and who's not. And then my mom just all around, just developing me. I was a tough kid, wild kid. And, just seeing.
I can imagine she had her hands full at times.
For sure. Yeah. And then just seeing her, not disappointed in me, but kind of sad I was acting the way I was acted, kind of did something to me and made me, like, want to do right in life. And, just what I've been through just helped me shape who I am.
Gotcha. LeQuint, you're a joy to talk to. I can't thank you enough for joining the Ozone Podcast. I look forward to watching you next year.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, bud.
Thank you.
He's outstanding, JP, and he's such a engaging kid for being his age. And I don't say that as anything against the youth of our.
Well, some kids are different these days, right?
But
this is what it is.
He is so mature and so self-aware. And I don't always enjoy talking to rookies because they don't have much to say yet. Last year, interviewed him on the field during training camp, and I was like, this kid is different. He's wired different. Whatever he's been through growing up, he has come to the league mature, box ready to open. And I'm not in the locker room, so it's hard for me to know exactly what the dynamics are. Be surprised to me if he's not a locker room leader just by his sheer force of personality and the way he approaches his profession.
He's a 7th-round draft pick.
Yeah.
Those guys, a lot of times won't make teams.
Right.
And especially when there's another running back drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round and a former first-round running back on the roster last year. So for him to break through, maintain his status, stay on the roster, that's one thing. And then to contribute like he did. Just his physicality and the way you talked about him being a nice guy. And he's super approachable off the field, great with the microphone, we just heard, incredible in the locker room just to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And I'm sure he's probably a similar teammate just behind the scenes in the building. He just kind of feels like that guy. But he doesn't look like that guy between the lines.
No.
He looks like he wants to rip people's heads off.
Yeah.
Special teams, like he's going
Likes
down and goes after the ball. And then in the running game, pass protection, he doesn't fear anybody. He's in the face of Max Crosby last year. I mean, he kind of sets the tone in a lot of ways for the offense. And kind of leave that sometimes to the offensive line for physicality and that kind of sake. But he adds to that, and you know, and he's going to go defend his team and do all that stuff too. We saw that in Miami in training camp when there was this big fight between the teams, which you don't want, but
he's going to be.
He was kind of the first one into the fray.
You don't mind it every now and then, and you like seeing the guy. And he's a guy who it never occurred to him when he walked in here that he didn't belong.
Right.
And as a rookie, that's rare sometimes, and it served him well. And I think he's going to be, you know, his rookie contract, and hopefully after that, a very important player around here.
Think about it. Last training camp, he was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And now he's going to be 22 in August. So, like, he was young when he got here. Those guys, you know, you don't see that a whole lot. I mean, you see older guys now, the way college football is going.
Right.
But for him to be that age and that physical and be able to stay in here and keep at it and keep getting better, it's awesome, man.
JP, the last thing we do on the Ozone podcast is the Ozone mailbag.
Oh, sweet!
I've printed out some questions that
you're
you're familiar with already.
You know
because
what?
You read the Ozone every day.
I read this every day.
Yeah, so you already know where I'm going with it. But
I don't want to give the whole how the sausage is made of the Ozone, but I read it every day. We'll leave it at that. How about
that? I guess makes you one of the lucky ones.
I'm one of them. There's one. Scooby-Doo from Las Vegas via Crestview, Florida. That's over in the Panhandle.
It is over the Panhandle.
Crestview, yeah. I'm intrigued that the 3 wide receivers all look good. I know it's only June, but how does this impact the frequency of jumbo packages? Imagine Trevor with 3+ receivers this fall. Do we not want him throwing 400 yards a game?
Yeah. So many of these topics, I consider them off-season worries that never really become things during the regular season, right? The Jaguars next season will have the option of going 4 wide with Travis Hunter.
Yeah, sure.
BTJ.
Yep.
They'll have the option of going 3 wide. They'll have the option of playing 12, 13 personnel, 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends. I don't think the bunch back there game planning or scheming this is all that concerned right now about, can we get 80% in 3 wide receivers? They want all of these packages to be dangerous so that defenses have trouble defending them. And the percentage of time will play out, meaning snaps, will play out as it plays out. So if we've talked ad nauseum about 12 and 13 personnel. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much they're going to play 12 and 13 personnel, but the idea is when they go to it, they want to be able to use it. And it's the old thing. If they had not used any 12 or 13 personnel last year at all, except in the fourth quarter against Houston and gotten 2 first downs, that would have been worth it. So you want to have your tools there when they're ready. And I think this is going to be, I think there will be games where they go 3 and 4 wide a lot because it's working. Defenses will scheme that, and they'll be able to go 12 or 13 personnel in the next game.
It's a week-to-week league.
Yeah,
I mean, it changes every week depending because there'll be adjustments by the other teams, and you got to have that weapon available in your arsenal to pull out if you need it.
Yeah, and I think this probably is the most, dangerous, diverse, loaded offense that I can remember here.
Ever.
Well, it's...
Early days, pretty good.
Yeah, early days had high-end talent, meaning Fred Taylor, Jimmy Smith,
Hall of Fame
level,
right? Yeah.
Brunell, but James Stewart and Fred were on. Mm-hmm. So you had big-time players. I don't know. I'm not sure you went as deep at tight end. I'm not sure you had quite the options at 3 and 4 receiver with that team.
No, you're right.
So
you're right.
The tool it's also a different league. You didn't have all this many packages, this many tools. But Liam's got tools at his disposal that are special.
He likes to use them, too, and they like to scheme it up back there.
It's going to be fun to watch those wrinkles next year.
That's right. All right, next question. For you. Travis from High Springs, Florida. I think that's northwest of Gainesville, I believe.
Sounds right. Higher than
Gainesville. Not the Low Springs, right. The High Springs. Do you believe Parker Washington can emerge as the top receiver for the Jags this season?
Sure. because he did last year at the end. I don't know that he will, and I don't know that they care if he does. Meaning, this offense, we talk so much based on things we hear on TV, right? And they're always talking about wide receiver ones. And does this offense need a wide receiver one? Not really.
No.
So, I mean,
doesn't feel like it.
So, sure, Parker could be the best receiver. The good thing for this team is Brian Thomas also could be the best receiver. Jacoby Myers could be the best receiver. We haven't even mentioned a kid who had in his last game last year had 7 for 105 or Travis. I forget the exact numbers. They have 4, if you count Brenton Strange. I haven't seen Borkatry yet or Koziel. But they've got at least 5 guys that I can name off the top of my head that it would not surprise you to see him standing on the post-game podium, and wouldn't surprise you to have 100 next to their stat line.
Any given game. I mean, they could rotate around.
Right.
You're right.
So would it shock you if Jacoby Myers has 100 yards and 2 touchdowns? No. BTJ, so you have 5 guys at least who can hurt you if defenses don't account for you. That's a lot. You have to have 4 to be a great offense. This team might have 5 or 6.
How many other teams are this deep at receiver, you think?
Well,
there's some really high-end, top-end receivers. I get that.
There's probably
teams
teams
got their guys.
as talented, but there's not that many teams that they're going to use them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Liam. These guys, they showed last year. Not only can they do it, they have no qualms about, hey, in the first quarter, hey, we're feeding Parker. Hey, we're feeding Jacoby. We're feeding BTJ. And there's no nerves about that.
Yeah, sure.
That's real.
Sure.
Big finish, JP.
One more to go.
Big finish.
Sean from Oakley, Florida. That's on the west side. Clay County,
It's
right?
on the west side, not far from here. Almost
Is
Jacksonville.
it officially Clay County? I think it is.
Could be.
Close enough. Any deep thoughts on a 4-point field goal for long-distance kicks? There were 2 of them in a UFL game on Sunday.
Yeah. Unsurprisingly, Liam and I differ on this. Mike Duraco of ESPN asked Liam on the podium today about this, and Liam's all in. Likes the 4-point field goal, likes the game strategy. He's a young man. I'm an old man. To me, 3 has been fine. 3. I don't know that I necessarily want to see teams trying to lose yardage late in games to fall back and hit. Now, as I write often, just because I feel this way doesn't mean I'm right. They might put it in, and it might be terrific for the game. I may have been arguing against the 3-point shot 35 years ago. So I kind of think the league might be convinced to go to this someday because they like adding wrinkles. I don't like the idea from a history standpoint of changing scoring. Now, as soon as I say that, the 2-point conversion has added a lot to it in the time that I've covered the league. They didn't used to have 2-point play.
That's right.
Now they do. It's better. So the old man in me is always going to shout at clouds and say, don't change. Yeah. But I could see it adding something. I could also see it making the end of the game weird in a way that doesn't quite look like football.
You're probably for it if you have a kicker that's made multi-60-yard field goals in one season, including the NFL record.
Yeah.
And in the preseason, a 70-yarder. When you have a weapon like that, yeah, sure, we love the rule. That's a great idea. We should talk about it.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're probably not for it. And talking about the end of the games. Let's say a team takes a knee and gets back to a 61-yard field goal try. Why can't the defense just jump off sides? Because they'll decline it every time, whatever. How many times does that happen to get them back across the threshold before it's like, at some point you got to
some stuff like that.
Kick the ball or not.
Now, the other side of it is how much more intriguing would it make you're down 4.
Oh, yeah. You just got to get to a certain line, and then you're good.
But then at what point are you saying, okay, if you can hit from 70, you get 5? I mean, do you?
Right. If you get it through the clown's mouth, do you get an extra prize at the end? Like, how's that work?
I think that's
like stuffed animal if you make a 70-yard field goal.
I think the clown's mouth is probably a good place to close.
We'll put a windmill in.
This week's Ozone podcast with fantastic job, J.P. Shadrick.
Good to be with you, Johnny.
Thanks to LeQuint Allen. I always thank players who join us because they don't have to do it. He was terrific and engaged, and I appreciate it. This has been the Ozone Podcast. Thank you, Brent Reber. Thank you, Joe Fortunato. Thank you, J.P. Shadrick. God bless us, everyone.
Thank you, Johnny.